I would like to thank Level Up Games in South St. Paul, Minnesota for having us this week. Phone number for South St. Paul is 651-493-9176. Address is 207 13th Avenue South in South St. Paul, Minnesota 55075. They have been very courteous in allowing us to record here. Next time you're in South St. Paul, please stop by for all your Magic, Pokemon, and comic book needs. Hello, and welcome to the Major Up Podcast for today, October 23rd. It's Monday night, and sorry I didn't get one on the weekend. I was busy cleaning stuff. But this one's going to be a review, so when you're going on Wednesday to the comic book store, please check these out. Some of these are a couple weeks old, and some of them are 1 week old. So let's just go through here. And first we're going to do the Valiant Entertainment solicitations for January 2018. I don't really have a bad time saying that word. I don't know. But anyway, so then we have, I think this is going to be the kickoff for the digital show. It's going to be Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe, 1 of 4. And there's going to be a variant cover by Bob Layton, which is totally sweet. But yeah, Bob Layton was one of the creators, I believe, of Ninjak, so that's kind of cool. But this is 1 of 4. It looks like there's going to be a few different covers, including a blank cover and a photo cover. We have Quantum and Woody number 2, and a Quantum and Woody icon variant by Mike Allred. Sorry, but I don't see that here. Maybe it's not on here yet. But anyway, that's pretty cool. If I can get that Mike Allred cover, that would be pretty sweet. We have X-O-Man of War, number 11. This is the Visigoth Part 1. It's being written by Matt Kent. And, let me see. There's so much good artistry on this book. And the art's being done by Ryan Bodenheim. And there's a cover by Giuseppe Camoncoli. He's doing a cover B, and Ariel Olivetti, and that's the interlocking variant. And I believe he's doing some of the interior art on some of the other X-Men of War. But here we go. Secret Weapons number 0. This is going to be the kickoff for Secret Weapons. Pretty much they've said in the past, like however long, everything that's going on this year in the Valiant universe is all ramping up to Harbinger Wars 2, and I really, really don't like when they do sequels to, like, it was cool when they did Divinity 2, Divinity 3 Stalinverse, because it was all part of the same story. I mean, you could read from issue 1 all the way to Stalinverse 3, issue 4, and it would tell an entire story. So it's kind of like just in parts, one story told in parts. But when they dig for a second big event, it kind of scares me, because like Civil War 2 or all the big time events in DC and in Marvel, there's all these. But anyway, Harbinger Wars is going to be in March of 2018, I think. I can't remember which exactly it is. But then we have Ninja K for all the Tonys in the crowd. Ninja K number 3, and that's being written by Christos Cage, and with art by Ariel Olivetti and Tomas Gariello. It's Spy versus Super Spy. Then we have Bloodshot Salvation number 5, and that's a Jeff Lemire 1. And we have a Greg Smallwood interlocking variant. He's a pretty good artist. Then we have, speaking of that, we have Eternity 4-4, and this is going to be the end of the Divinity, everything the Divinity universe. So this is kind of like, there was Divinity 2, Divinity 3 Stalinverse, and now this is kind of Divinity 4, but it's called Eternity, and it's going to end the whole storyline that Matt Kent has been working up to. I mean, it's kind of like if they just did Divinity and they just did like 30 issues of it. That's what this is ramping up towards, and it's making me so excited to get this. So Matt Kent is writing it, and Trevor Hairsine is the artist, and I'm really excited. And then that month, there's an X-O-Man of War Volume 3 Emperor trade paperback, Harbinger Renegade Volume 2 Massacre. That's where all the deaths happen in issue 5, I believe it was. That 5 through 8 and number 0. So So then we have Divinity, the Complete Trilogy Deluxe Edition hardcover. So that's going to bring you Divinity 1, 2, and 3 Stalinverse, and that's going to be sweet, because that's a great series. If I didn't have them all in floppies, I probably would go for that. So that's all that Valiant's going to be bringing out in January. So let's go at some of these reviews that I did for... I actually had these for last week a little bit, and it just kind of got out of control. So the first one was something my nephew picked up. It's called A Tomahawk Number 0. The story is by Donnie Cates, and the art is by Ian Betterman and Taylor Esposito. And let's just say it was amazingly interesting. I probably would give it, for art, a 3 out of 5. It's not the kind of art you get normal in a comic book, but it's not bad art. It's good art, but not the kind of art that I'd be like running around telling everyone about. I think story-wise, it's 4 out of 5. It's an interesting story, and it's not something you've seen before, so it's more interesting. And continuity, 5 out of 5. You don't need to know anything. Or accessibility, I guess I call it now. It's one of those things where, but it has to be your kind of comic book. I don't know if this would catch on with the masses or whatever you want to call them. It's a pretty good, apparently it was written before inside of Heavy Metal magazine, and this is like grouping that all together. You could tell there's different stories there, but it all like kind of comes together, and I don't know, apparently they're going to have some more, because it says issue 0, so I'm assuming there's going to be more of them coming. And this is a bigger size, and I believe it was $5.99 to purchase this, and you can get it digitally. Yep, digital $5.99 and print $5.99. So if you get down to your comic book store and it's all sold out, or they didn't order any, because this is kind of one of those weird comic books, go buy it. I think it's worth a purchase and a read. I would give it, even though I kind of like each individual thing, I think it creates a great comic book. I would highly recommend purchasing this and reading it and supporting the Tomahawk. So then, the next comic book I went out in my nephew's collection and read was a little ditty called The Volcanosaurus. Now this is written by S.A. Czech with art by Scotty Watson, and the cover art is by Andrew Magnum. Now I'm not familiar with these people, but the art is top notch. I'd say 4 out of 5. The art is done by a group of guys, by Scotty Watson. Amazing good work. It's not like work that you would put with the Kirbys and the Kuberts and all that stuff, but it's good art for our time. For an indie title, it's great art, I think. Now the writing is kind of schlocky from, all those sci-fi television movie. I mean, this is right out of that. It could be a sci-fi television show, and in fact I'll be surprised if they don't turn it into a sci-fi channel movie at some point, when this is over. But this is issue 1. It was $3.99, and it came out on October 11th, the same as The Tomahawk. I thoroughly enjoyed this story, but it was schlocky. I give it 3 out of 5. Art, 4 out of 5. Overall, or accessibility, 5 out of 5. You could just pick this up and start reading it, and I would give it a 5 out of 5. Just for enjoyability, reading it and sitting down and enjoying a good comic book, I'd give it a 5 out of 5. I'd also recommend you go pick this one up, because I was kind of wishy-washy about reading it, but if you just like fun comic books, this one's definitely pretty fun to read. Now the next one I reviewed, and I was so excited to read, because this character is now in they call it the Arrowverse, but he's been on Arrow, is Ragman. I didn't know an awful lot about Ragman, and this Ragman in the comic book is so much different than the one on the TV show. It has to do with mercenaries and them going over to, I can't remember if it was Iraq or where it was, but they were getting opening a crypt and trying to find something, and there's some demons, and the Ragman thing comes and saves them and helps them or whatever. It was pretty interesting. I know Ray Fox wrote it, and my computer won't boot up now, so I can look and see who drew it, but the art is really good. I give it a 5 out of 5 on art. Story, I give it a 4 out of 5, and accessibility, 5 out of 5, because this isn't like the Ragman from 1968 or whatever it was created. this is a totally new thing, so you can kind of be there and you can kind of learn along with everyone else, because I had no idea what was going on, but it kind of like hinted that they're going to continually, it's a 6-part, and they're going to continually tell us what is going on. So I don't think you need to know anything going in, except that it's a fun comic book. I gave it a 5 out of 5, but it just depends on it. It's really deep too, so it's one of those things they kind of got. It's kind of like you can't just enjoy like shooting and fighting. You gotta. It's kind of a thinking man's comic, I'd say. Anyway, finally, the last comic book I did a lot of DC stuff this time, which is odd. But these both were given to me by Steve, which was kind of an awesome change here. Mr. Miracle #1. Everyone in the universe is saying this is a great comic, so I read it. And I came out with just a 3 out of 5, just basic. I wasn't thoroughly impressed by it, but I wasn't thoroughly let down by it. Art is 5 out of 5. Mitch Gerards is like the bomb at art. So whenever his name's attached to something, you know you're going to get good art. So I wouldn't even... The story is 3 out of 5. Tom King, with this story, is just average. I mean, I don't know. That's why I gave Accessibility 1 out of 5. These are all in a Jack Kirby universe called the New Gods, and these people exist in there. If you don't know anything about them like me, I didn't know anything about them, it gets kind of confusing a few times. So I didn't thoroughly enjoy the thing, because I had to like think a lot. And I kind of gave it a 2 out of 5. I mean, like I said, if you don't know who the New Gods are or any of the characters are, I know most of the characters, but I don't know where their thing is in the world. Like Big Barda's in there, and I just know that she's like a warrior. Granny Goodness is referred to in it. And there is a reference to metal for the metal fans out there. And I don't know if that's supposed to be part of the metal part of the universe or not, as I've heard that there's supposed to be references to the metal and all the different things to coincide with Dark Knight's metal. But if it was, it's pretty cool. I really liked it. Would I wait for a trade? Yes, I'm going to wait for the trade. I probably will end up getting it in a trade, but if Mr. Miracle's your man, then you got to go pick it up. I'm like that with Black Panther. Anything Black Panther, I got to be all over that bad boy. So if Mr. Miracle and the New Gods are your thing, that's what you got to get. But anyway, that's the end of my time here with you, and I'm glad that we got to spend tonight together. And I will be looking out for you. Tomorrow night I'll be at Level Up in South St. Paul, so please make sure that if you have a chance you can stop by and get some comic books from there, or your local comic book store. But you might want to go on Wednesday when they have the new stuff out. And I just read online that Level Up has acquired Mead Hall Games in Minneapolis. I'm going to talk to Tony tomorrow about that and see if I can throw them in here with the getting there. And I don't know an awful lot about Mead Hall Games, so I need to find out a little bit more, and then I'll be able to tell you what's going on and what you can do there, because I'm not totally sure. It was out of the blue, or out of the left field, or whatever. But anyway, alright, so everybody read your comic books, everybody get ready for Wednesday. This Wednesday is going to be a big day in comic books. A new Batman's out, a couple other things are coming out, so everybody be excited for that, and get down to your local comic book store. Spend your whole entire paycheck there. No, I'm just playing. Spend what you can. Help the local comic book stores continue to thrive. And let's keep this in the Twin Cities and everywhere in the world. Keep comic book stores going. Alright, thank you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.